Are you feeling a bit tired, slow, and sluggish today? Or even a bit of a brain fog or lack of motivation to get you through that afternoon hump while you're doing things to run your business? Well, maybe it's time for some house cleaning. You know, these are all signs or indications that your body needs to do a cleanse or a detox. I'm Laura Humphreys, and in this episode of Faces of Freedom TV, I'll be sharing with you some insights about the importance of cleansing and detoxing, and so that you can have the clarity and the energy to run a successful business. So you're going to want to listen in to this, because what I'm going to be sharing with you is important in taking care of yourself so that you can create a life that you love through a home business lifestyle. You know, in the last several years, there's been a lot of emphasis and interest put on cleansing and detoxing and understanding what it does to the body. And what's being found more and more is that this is actually more important than proper nutrition when it comes to slowing down or even reversing the aging process. You know, we all live in a very toxic, polluted environment. All the chemicals in the air that we breathe in, the exhaust from traffic on the road, even within your home and office environment, there's a lot of off-gassing of toxic, dangerous chemicals from the upholstery, the drapes, the carpets, your bedding, even the dry cleaning chemicals for your clothes, and just the regular laundry detergent that you wash your clothes in every week, as an example. So all of this stuff, chemicals in the air we breathe in, that has detrimental effects to our health, as well as our sinuses, our lungs, our brain clarity, our emotional balance. But just as important as it is to look at all that, then it's important to look at what you're putting into your mouth, because that also is things that we need to cleanse and detox our body from. Even if you've done a lot already to clean up your diet, to go primarily plant-based, whole foods, organic, clean eating, you still need to do a cleanse or detox from time to time, just for good general health maintenance. If you haven't done much to start cleaning up your diet, to where you're eating the standard American diet of fast foods, pulling stuff out of a can or a box, that stuff loaded with sugar, chemicals, artificial sweeteners, artificial flavoring, a lot of animal products, then I strongly, strongly encourage you to start cleaning up your diet, because that type of a diet is directly linked to disease, low energy, brain fog, aging, acceleration, all of the stuff that we're plagued with in this society. So hence the importance of cleaning and detoxing your body from time to time. I have this one of my favorite sayings that I like to share with people, and that is, pretend foods produce pretend people, or fake foods equals a fake identity. Now, I know this may sound a little bit harsh, and I say it intentionally to get people's attention. So follow me through with this, and I'll explain to you why I say what I do. If your diet is strongly loaded with the standard American diet, with foods come out of a box or a can that's made in a manufacturing plant owned by a corporation, as opposed to foods made from a plant out of the ground that nature made, then there's a lot of things in this diet, a lot of chemicals, flavorings, preservatives, hormones, pesticide residues in meat, too much meat, animal products in meat. All of that produces very detrimental effects on our body, physically, but also emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. When we have a diet loaded with all of these chemicals, then those chemicals get locked into our body, and they keep us within a certain state of consciousness. When we digest this poorly nutritious meal or nutritionally void meal, it creates a lot of physiological stress in the body. You couple that digestive stress with just the stress of day-to-day living, of dealing with people, of the last-minute deadlines and such, then you are locked in a state of stress. We all know this. We're also stressed out, and we also know that stress is one of the major primary causes of inflammation and disease. So cleansing and detoxing the body helps lower all of that to help you move out of a state of stress. When you are in a state of stress, then the body makes hormones or chemicals equal to all of those emotions of stress. This is a very proven thing. And I don't know if you're very familiar with a man named Dr. Joe Dispenza. I followed him for years and have learned quite a bit about him. But one of the things he teaches and explains is that the hormones of stress produce certain feeling states. And I'm going to share them with you. These feeling states are not normal states of consciousness. That's extremely important that I want you to remember and hold in your brain. So what are some of these feeling states? Anger, frustration, hostility, depression, hatred, judgment, fear, anxiety, insecurity, unworthiness, sadness, pain, suffering, guilt, hopelessness. You get the picture. A lot of these very heavy negative emotions that you can see the masses of people being stuck in, and you've probably experienced your times when you're stuck in those too. We all have, so have I. But the thing is, when you are stuck in stress, and stress for a long period of time, and you can't get out of that loop, and your body is making those chemicals of stress, which are also emotional chemicals, so that you feel that anger, that frustration, that anxiety, that's a very low level vibration, a very low level of consciousness. And as Dr. Joe Dispenza says, it's not natural. When you have a bad diet, a sad diet of the fake foods that I call it, the pretend foods made from a manufacturing plant, not from a plant from the earth, the chemicals, the additives, the MSG, the sugar, all of the junk that's put into those pretend foods are of a same equal vibration as all of these lower emotional states of stress. Like attracts like. This is a very basic principle of physics. So when you have these emotions of stress, like the anger, the hatred, the judgment, the depression, the da-da-da-da-da, and you're stuck in that loop, and then you go eat a hamburger and ice cream and fake stuff out of a box, the chemicals in that food, fake food, is going to keep the chemicals, the emotions of stress locked in your body, reinforcing you in this same loop of stress, reinforcing you in this same state of consciousness that is not normal. It's not how we are meant to experience life. It's not how we're meant to live. We're not meant to be in stress all the time. We all know this. That is why I call it a fake identity or a fake personality, because when you're locked in that state of stress for so long that you think that that's normal, then you act out in abnormal ways. You're not coming from your heart. You're not coming from a lot of clarity. You're not being able to make good, sound decisions. You're not coming from your authentic self, from your best self, being in tune with your spiritual guidance, your intuition. You can't when you're stuck in the states of stress. Plus, when we are living in the society that we have, so much of what we are taught about how we are supposed to be, who we are supposed to be, how we are to interact with people, how society expects us to function, and the programming, I call it, of you go to school, you get a good job, you get married, you have kids, 2.5 kids with a white picket fence, the program that is outlined for you to live. That's been created by other people that we all find is being not working anymore and moving beyond it. But all of that social conditioning and that programming is imposed upon us from the womb, and especially within the first 7 years of life, of how we are to live life. It's come to you based upon the agendas and beliefs of other people. When you have fake food with all those chemicals, the hormones of stress, the emotions of those stressful states lock all of that conditioning into your body. And that's what we struggle with. That's what generates the frustration, the pain, the anxiety, the stuck in the rut, patterns that we have such a hard time moving beyond. None of that is a normal state of consciousness of who you really are. That's why I call it a pretend person, a fake identity, because it locks you into an abnormal state. When you learn how to change your diet and go more whole foods, plant-based, and exercise, do the basic things of health maintenance and taking care of yourself, it helps your body release all of that garbage, helps you release all of that emotional chemistry so that your body can finally relax and come out of a stressful state and back into more normal homeostasis, your more natural state. So when you do a cleanse or a detox, that is just as important to move your emotional, energetic, mental, spiritual state out of stress and out of crazy making. That's just as important as the physical, chemical detox from wastes and toxins in your body that produce aging, acceleration, and disease. So you're hitting it from every level. The physical, the emotional, the mental, the spiritual, when you cleanse and detox. That's why it's so important to do on a regular basis. When you give your body a rest from digesting all of the time, especially heavy-laden animal products, it's too heavy for your body to really digest and deal with, then the energy that the body spends to have to deal with this meal, especially if it's nutrient void, all of that energy can be redirected to cleaning house, to taking out the waste, to breaking down the emotional molecules of stress out of your liver so that your body can metabolize all those chemicals and hormones and release it. Once you go through processes of cleansing and detoxing like that, you can do it with water, with herbal teas. A lot of fruits and vegetable juices is a very popular way of doing it, very effective, and it's a gentle way of going into the cleanse and detox process. But when you give your body a break from doing all of that, it can finally say, thank God, finally have some relief from all of this toxic buildup, from all of this stress. It can finally release all of that weight, literal weight, as well as energetic and emotional weight, mental weight. And then you can breathe again. Rather than spending so much energy digesting all the time, your body can now do what it knows to do to cleanse and detoxify and rebuild tissue, which restores health, vitality, and energy. And so when you do this on a regular basis, what can you expect? Yes, you have to go through, or it's common to go through what we call the detox phase of sometimes flu-like symptoms of all of this garbage coming up and out. It's necessary. It's got to come out of your body somehow, whether it's in your breath, your sweat, your urine, when you have a bowel movement, all of the channels of elimination of your body open up so it can finally take out the garbage. And so when that's happening, then yeah, you may not feel very good. But just remember and understand that it's temporary and just to persist through it. You can always slow the cleanse down if it's going a little too intense for you. Say if you're doing a juice cleanse or a fast and you have a couple of days where it's like the full-on detox symptoms, then you can slow down and just have an apple, a little bit of a solid food, or a gentle salad of some leafy greens to help slow down the process, but yet still continue it so that you can get to the other side. So once you're on the other side, then it's like this veil is lifted up, this cloud or fog is lifted off your brain and off your mind. It's much easier to connect in with who you are, with what your mission is, your purpose, your message of what you want to share with people, which that's why you go into coaching. You want to help people and share things and help them make their lives better. But if you don't know who you're serving, what your message is, then how can you be of real support and service for other people? So when you take care of yourself by cleansing, then you can access all of this information of what is your place in this world, in your connectedness within the matrix of life. We are all connected. Who are you connected to? What is your contribution, your message of the particular people or audience that you're meant to serve? It's much easier to get in touch with that truth when your body is healthy and clear after you've done a detox. You can get in touch with your intuition and spiritual downloads as to what your message is, how to reach them, who you need to be interacting with. Everything that you need to grow a more successful, prosperous business, you can access much easier when you are healthy and clean and your body is functioning optimally. So let's do some detox. Let's clean up your body, let's clean up your mind, clean up your emotions and energy so that you can be much more effective in serving your audience, so that you can help them, give them the intuitive guidance and downloads that you're here in this life to do. So I also have a guide for you, as with all of my videos. Then I've got a PDF download that explains to you some basic instructions to do a gentle cleanse. It's a juice cleanse that I've done several times, and it's really made a difference for me. And so I encourage you to take a few days out of your busy schedule, schedule it in, make it a priority for 7 or 5 days, and do a juice cleanse with a lot of juice, water, pure water, herbal teas, and see how you feel. And also you can make sure that your channels of elimination are open so that you don't get more clogged and congested traffic jams, I call it, in your body as it's trying to take out the garbage. So you'll notice around this video, there's the download link for that. Make sure you do it and take care of yourself through a cleanse or detox. And in closing, I just want to share briefly with you my first detox experience and what really got my attention with all this process, because it had such a big shift and change for me. So I literally was at the heaviest that I had been in my life in terms of weight. And I could tell it's like I was on this one direction trajectory. I'm like every few months or a couple years, another 5 pounds, another 3 pounds. And I'm like, oh, this is never going to turn around. I didn't know what to do to change that direction. And I hadn't really done a lot to clean up my diet. I had done some, but not enough. And I was just feeling very overweight, not real good, not real confident about myself. And so a friend suggested that I do a cleanse. And yes, I balked at it for a while. She had to really convince me of the importance of it. And I'm like, oh, I've never gone without food before. This is really kind of strange. I'm not sure about this. But she goes, just open your mind to something new and try it. Which is exactly what I'm telling you to do. Open your mind, try something new, and see what it does for you if you haven't done a cleanse before. So I said, okay, I'll do it. At first, she wanted to do a whole 4 weeks or 28 days, and I'm like, oh, that's a long time. But what I actually ended up doing was a 21-day, a 3-week cleanse. And I didn't have a blender, or didn't a really good blender. I didn't have a juicer. I didn't really know what I was doing. But what I did was use the blender that I had and just did a lot of vegetables. And so it was more like a slushy, not really a smoothie, because the blender didn't grind up everything real smooth. So there's a little bit of chunky stuff in there, but I still did it. And then at night, especially for the first several days, then I would do a light salad or a whole fruit, a little bit of solid food as my body was adjusting. And after about a week, I was at the gym and I was looking at myself in the mirror and I was like, oh my gosh, am I getting thinner? I looked at my abdomen. I'm like, wow. So I went and weighed myself, and sure enough, I dropped about 5 or 7 pounds. I was flabbergasted because nothing that I'd ever done had helped me drop weight before, and especially within that short amount of time. So I thought, well, this is really kind of cool. So I kept at it. I ended up doing it for 21 days, 3 weeks. And I was absolutely floored. At the end of that, I had dropped a good 20 pounds, and it has never come back. And that's been several years ago. And from that, my metabolism changed, my appetite changed, my taste buds changed to where I didn't need a lot of food as much as I had done prior. I wasn't hungry for the fake food, what fake foods I was still eating. And it just totally changed my metabolism, everything about the chemistry of my body, to where I never went back to that weight. And with that, it set me on a whole new path of the importance of learning about cleansing and detoxifying, and how it really, truly does rebuild your body and offer you emotional, energetic, and spiritual clarity for what you're doing, why you're doing it, and who you are to interact with and serve. So with that, I hope you've enjoyed this video. I encourage you to get the download of just this introductory general cleanse protocol and try it and let me know what you think. So did you find value in this video? If so, I'd love to hear from you. What did you like best? Are you going to try the cleanse? I'd love to hear from you as you experiment with that. What are some of the things that you've done to cleanse your body, or some of the favorite juice recipes and blends that you use? I'd love to know that too. So leave a comment below, subscribe to this channel, Faces of Freedom. Every week then I give you tips and suggestions on self-care and things to create a life that you love through a home business lifestyle, like what I've just offered to you today. And if you'd like to know more about how you can do all this, then check out my website, lauraleehumphreys.com. You can contact me there. You can also contact me on Facebook. I've got my profile, Laura Lee Humphreys, as well as my page, Faces of Freedom. You can follow me there and receive all the updates. So with that, thank you for watching and have an enjoyable week.